Hey, how you floating? It's Bo. And welcome back to another rendition of the 1-2. We discuss any and all things boxing. So, today, we're going to be speaking about Shakur Stevenson. Homeboy was recently just stripped of his titles because he'd lost weight right on the scale. Ooh, it was by 1.5 pounds. And what exactly he plans on doing with his future fights and everything like that. I'm not gonna lie. Personally, as a Shakur Stevenson fan, I'm pretty goddamn excited. With a record of 18 wins and 0 losses, fighting outside of Alexandria, Virginia, Shakur Stevenson is probably the last person that you would actually think is anyone to miss weight for a big fight like this. But he's not perfect. He's human, just like everybody else. And something like this is very commonplace in any kind of like combat sport period. It just does happen. And at the end of the day, I think it just kind of does come down to not only the fighter to take responsibility, but then also make the right moves and adjustments to make sure it doesn't happen again. And Shakur, in my opinion, has made an extremely bold but exciting move by moving up to the 135-pound weight division. This essentially means that he is now fighting against top dogs such as Devin Haney, Vasily Lomachenko, George Kambosos, and Teofimo Lopez, and everybody else's little favorite Instagram champion, Ryan Garcia, as well. The reason why I find all of this just so interesting is that the division itself right now is so stacked, and there's so many great young prospects that them in their own rights just become factors that we can't necessarily just say, oh, well, one would basically be better than the other due to stylistic matchup and also just undefeated record being higher or something. It's not what we're trying to go after, and we can't even really say that anymore. But now that it's just come down to the fact that we just have to see the fights happen, I think Shakur being here is going to disrupt the division in a way in which it hasn't necessarily seen before. All of these people that were genuinely like now talked about, let's say in terms of like their dark horses or something like that, so let's say the Ryan Garcias, the Isaac Cruzes, and the Jojo Diaz's and shit, this is now their make or break point. With someone like Shakur being here and them calling out top guys like Haney and Tank, and them obviously not really wanting to fucking fight you guys at all, it's probably about time for you to fight another great prospect such as Shakur Stevenson. And I think it's about time for him to start really weaning out the good from the bad, and to genuinely, I'm not gonna lie, bring some equilibrium to the fucking division, because oh my god, a pecking order needs to be established, yo. I think a really great entry-level fight for him would probably be against someone like Jojo Diaz. In my opinion, those two would bring out the best in one another, and it would be a really great make-or-break fight for Jojo. I think it's possibly because Homeboy is nearing, I think, maybe like the middle stages of being 30 years old, and in a sport like this, unless you're genuinely built different, 30 is around the time in which you really need to start considering to hang out with the gloves, dude. Like, legit. If not Jojo, I genuinely want to see him go up against either Ryan or Isaac. I don't think that Ryan will be super, I guess, down to fight him like off the bat. He'll probably talk about it left, right, and center, and then possibly nothing will ever come about it. But Isaac is a man that will genuinely get a fucking fight done, put out, and ready. And for whatever it is, he's really only here to continuously make statements and make a name for himself. I think possibly one more good warm-up fight between him and another great prospect, someone like Stevenson, would genuinely propel him to, I'm not gonna lie, would really propel him a little bit closer towards that Tank rematch fight. And whenever it comes to the top dogs in the division and everything, I would want for him to start fighting people like Tank and Haney and everything like that off the top, especially also Loma, but it's just not going to happen that way. Stevenson, still as he is going to need to, I'm not going to lie, still going to need a few tune-up fights within that weight division to still get a little bit, somewhat, I guess, adjusted to 135 weight, and honestly being able to fight at that kind of weight for a consistent amount of time, because this is a stacked division. Everybody is here, and to be honest, he's got a whole lot of other people that are standing in his way even before that. After Devin Haney gets through mopping George Kambosos the second time around, I am positive, like I am so positive, yo, that George will be a great fight for Stevenson as well. But also, George has straight up said too that if he loses, he's going to retire. which I really don't have any kind of saying on that, but yo, that's him. That's just 100%. Because, I mean, if you get beaten by a jab and just basically nothing else again, I kind of feel like that's your fault and not really no one else's. So now, I think I may have failed to mention this, and whether or not this may be seen as a hot take, I guess, is completely up to you. But I genuinely think that Shakur Stevenson is probably the only person currently in the lightweight division that can really contend with people like Vasily Lomachenko and Devin Haney, people who have incredible ring IQ or just have the fundamentals down to such an incredible T to where it seems as if it's damn near impossible to actually beat him. But at the end of the day, I think that Shakur essentially has a little bit of everything, and that makes him so dangerous in this division. I think he has enough power to contend and keep anybody at bay and genuinely put them on their ass if he catches you clean, but also at the end of the day, he has an extremely, let's say, you would see like recklessly defensive style to where he kind of likes to stay genuinely in the pocket and counterattack right off of shit that you really wouldn't think he'd have enough time or distance to. But he does. And, you know, he's got some skills that every top contender right now would genuinely struggle with. I think with Vasily, it would really come down to just the fact that he would really be fighting Stevenson's fight in terms of distance the entire time. Would never really be able to get in and get off any kind of angles and just do anything with the matrix like he really does want to. I think Tank's biggest problem would just be the ring IQ. It wouldn't really be anything like the power or the size. He's fought people like Rolly and then also someone his same exact size like Izak. So that's not really it. But it really is just that ring IQ. I don't think he's just faced a good-ass boxer like him yet. And I'm not going to lie to you at all. Devin has, it's the power coupled with the skill. We've seen it with Jorge. Now, I just really do hope that the intro fights that he is willing to take aren't going to be anything like Nakatani, Richard Comey, or like Emmanuel To-Go, nothing like that. I genuinely want to see him up against some great prospects, because it's time for us to really cull this division. At this point in time, it's gotten way too stacked. And for whatever it is, the thing of belts, there being too many of them is a completely different topic for another day. But too many belts can only be the result of just there being too many good fighters at one point in time. And Stevenson, I'm glad he's here to change some shit up. And if anything, I think y'all should be too.